Have you noticed it? That subtle, almost invisible change that greets you the moment you step through those automatic doors? There's a quiet shift happening in stores like Walmart, Kroger, and even your neighborhood market. It's not loud or dramatic, but it's there if you look closely. Shelves that once overflowed with options now look a little bare. The variety you're used to is shrinking. And those price tags? They seem to inch higher every week, almost as if daring you to notice. But don't panic. This isn't the end of the world. It's just the new reality we're living in. Today is February 14th, 2026, and what we're experiencing is the result of years of tangled supply chains, unpredictable weather patterns, and ongoing labor shortages that have quietly built up over time. The global food system is under more pressure than ever before, and it's finally starting to show up in our everyday lives, especially in what we put in our grocery carts. So, let's have an honest conversation about what's really happening. I'm going to walk you through 11 everyday grocery items that are quietly disappearing or becoming harder to find. We'll explore why each one is at risk, what shoppers like you are noticing, and most importantly, how you can prepare calmly, thoughtfully, and without fear. This is about using common sense, not giving in to panic. So pour yourself a cup of coffee while it's still on the shelves and join me as we dive into the 11 grocery items that are vanishing right now. Ready? Let's get started. Let's start with eggs, a staple in nearly every kitchen. Whether you're making breakfast, baking, or just whipping up a quick meal, eggs are one of the most versatile and affordable sources of protein, and for many families, they're a daily essential. But lately, avian flu outbreaks have devastated poultry farms across the country, leading to mass culling and millions of hens lost almost overnight. These outbreaks don't just affect one region, they ripple through the entire supply chain. With so many hens gone, egg production drops sharply. Fewer hens mean fewer eggs, and unfortunately, recovery is slow. It can take months for farms to rebuild their flocks and return to normal output. This cycle of shortage and recovery is now the norm, making egg supplies unpredictable and sometimes unreliable. Maria from Ohio told me she visited 3 stores just to find a single carton, and when she finally did, prices were sky high. She's not alone. Many shoppers are facing the same struggle. USDA data confirms it. Egg prices are more volatile than ever, with costs sometimes doubling or even tripling in a matter of weeks. The industry is working hard to adapt, with stricter biosecurity and new protocols. But the virus keeps coming back, making it a constant battle. So, if eggs are a regular part of your diet, it pays to be strategic and think ahead. When you see eggs at a good price, consider grabbing an extra carton if your budget allows. It's a simple way to stay ahead of sudden shortages. And don't forget, eggs can be preserved. Try freezing them for later use, especially if you find a good deal or want to avoid waste. Remember, it's not about hoarding or panic buying, it's about being prepared and making sure your household has what it needs. A little planning goes a long way, helping you save money, reduce stress, and keep your meals on track no matter what happens at the store. Next up, beef, especially ground beef and affordable cuts. The U.S. cattle herd is at its lowest in over 70 years due to drought and high feed costs. Ranchers are selling off breeding stock, making recovery a decade-long process. Prices are rising, and some stores are limiting purchases. David in Texas says his local market's beef is pricier and sourced from farther away. The supply will get tighter before it improves. My advice: when you see a good sale, buy a little extra and freeze it. Portion and label it for easy use. Having beef in your freezer is like money in the bank. It shields you from price spikes and shortages. Be an opportunistic shopper. The new normal for beef is uncertainty. Olive oil, liquid gold for many kitchens, is in crisis. Most comes from Spain, Italy, and Greece, where heat waves and droughts are decimating olive groves. Extreme weather and new pests are slashing harvests by up to 50%. Prices have doubled or tripled, and bottles are shrinking. Shelves are often empty, and importers are scrambling. If olive oil is essential for you, consider picking up an extra bottle or 2. The outlook for future harvests is bleak. This isn't a temporary blip. It's a long-term problem. Stocking up now protects your pantry and your wallet. Don't wait for prices to climb higher. A little foresight goes a long way. Secure your supply while you can. For millions of people around the world, coffee isn't just a drink. It's a cherished daily ritual, a comforting start to the morning, and a moment of calm in a busy day. But this simple pleasure is increasingly under threat, and many don't realize how fragile the supply chain has become. Brazil's Arabica beans and Vietnam's Robusta beans, 2 of the world's most important coffee crops, are both being hit hard by severe droughts, unexpected frosts, and unpredictable weather patterns. These climate challenges are making it harder for farmers to grow healthy crops, and yields are dropping. On top of that, global shipping delays and soaring transport costs are adding even more chaos to the coffee market. Getting beans from farm to cup is taking longer and costing more than ever before. As a result, prices are climbing steadily, and you might notice your favorite blends missing from store shelves more often. The days of endless options are fading. The selection is shrinking, and supply is patchy week to week. Some stores are struggling to keep up with demand, and restocks are less predictable. The good news? Coffee beans, especially whole beans, can last for months if stored properly. Airtight and even frozen, they keep their flavor and freshness. So when you see your favorite brand on sale, it's smart to grab an extra bag or two. Stocking up now can save you money and stress later. Build a small reserve in your pantry to keep your mornings running smoothly, no matter what happens with the next harvest or shipment. It's a simple, practical way to avoid disruptions from the next failed harvest, shipping delay, or sudden price spike. A little preparation goes a long way. Don't let your daily comfort be interrupted. By stocking up smartly, you can ensure your favorite cup is always within reach, no matter what's happening in the world. Your future self will thank you for thinking ahead and making sure your mornings stay bright and energized. Coffee is worth preparing for, because some comforts are simply too important to risk. Chocolate lovers, brace yourselves. Over 2/3 of the world's cocoa comes from Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire, now facing disease, aging trees, and economic pressures. Crop failures and higher wages for farmers have sent cocoa prices soaring. Chocolate bars are smaller, and baking cocoa is pricier. The supply can't meet global demand, and what's available costs a fortune. If you bake or love chocolate, grab an extra bar or cocoa tin when you see it. Store it in a cool, dark place. This isn't a short-term spike, it's a fundamental shift. Chocolate will stay expensive and scarce for years. Prepare now for your sweet cravings. A little extra on hand goes a long way. Canned seafood, tuna, salmon, sardines, has long been a pantry staple. Overfishing and stricter quotas mean fewer fish for canneries. Processing is concentrated in Asia, where tariffs and shipping costs are rising. Prices are up, and shelves are often sparse. Sarah, a single mom, says canned tuna is no longer a budget option. Fewer brands, more out of stocks. It's a real-world impact. Canned seafood lasts for years and is a reliable protein. Pick up a few extra cans when you find a sale. Don't clear the shelf, just build a small stockpile. It's a smart move for quick meals or emergencies. Stay prepared, not panicked. Rice feeds more than half the world, but the global market is on edge. Floods and droughts in Asia have crippled harvests. Major exporters like India are limiting or banning exports, creating global shortages. US production can't fill the gap, and our farmers face their own droughts. That's why you're seeing purchase limits and higher prices. For many, a big bag of rice is a pantry essential. If your family eats rice regularly, keep an extra bag or two on hand. Rice stores well for a long time. It's a simple way to protect against price hikes and empty shelves. Don't wait for the next export ban. Stock up smartly. Honey, nature's sweetener, is under threat as bee populations continue to decline worldwide. Colony collapse, pesticides, habitat loss, and parasites are devastating hives everywhere, causing widespread concern. Domestic honey production is down, and imports now face stricter testing for purity and authenticity. Less honey, more expensive bottles, and fewer choices, especially for local or raw varieties on store shelves. If honey is a staple in your home, pick up an extra jar whenever you can. Support local beekeepers if possible, and help sustain their important work. Honey never spoils, so it's a perfect pantry item for long-term storage. A little extra ensures you're covered. Sweeten your preparedness for any situation. It's a simple, smart move for every household. Bananas, the most purchased fruit, are facing a fragile future. Grown mostly in Latin America, they're vulnerable to hurricanes and storms. A deadly fungus, TR4, threatens the Cavendish variety that dominates global supply. Once a plantation is infected, it can't grow Cavendish bananas again. The disease is spreading in South America, and storms are more frequent. Labor disputes and rising transport costs add to the instability. Sometimes the banana display is full, sometimes nearly empty. Bananas don't store long, so buy a mix of ripe and green to stagger your supply. Freeze overripe bananas for smoothies or baking. Take advantage when they're available. Flexibility is key with this staple. Enjoy them while you can. Berries, fresh and frozen, are getting harder to find and pricier. Labor shortages mean crops go unpicked, and extreme weather ruins harvests. Poor fresh harvests mean less fruit for freezing, tightening supply. Frozen berry bags are smaller, more expensive, and sometimes out of stock. Stock up on frozen berries when you see a sale. They last months and are picked at peak ripeness. Versatile for smoothies, oatmeal, and baking. A small freezer stash keeps your breakfast routine on track. Don't rely on the fresh aisle alone. Prepare for berry shortages. Enjoy the taste of summer year-round. The cereal aisle is changing. Boxes are smaller, prices higher, and choices fewer. Shrinkflation means you're paying the same for less. Companies are discontinuing less popular products to cut costs. Ingredient and packaging prices are up, and delays mean more out of stocks. If your family has a favorite cereal, follow the one for now, one for the pantry rule. Buy an extra box to buffer against shortages or discontinuations. Rotate your stock to keep it fresh. It's a simple way to keep breakfast normal. Don't get caught off guard by empty shelves. A little planning keeps mornings smooth. Cereal comfort is worth protecting. That's 11 items, each with its own story of change. The goal isn't to panic or hoard, just to be mindful and strategic. Build a small, thoughtful pantry for your family's staples. Rotate your stock and store things smartly. This is practical home economics, not prepping for doomsday. Prices are up, supplies are fragile, and a little extra on hand makes a big difference. Next time you see your go-to item, consider grabbing an extra. Not out of fear, but for peace of mind. Stay sharp, stay prepared, and happy shopping while it still feels normal.